Question: what do you get when you cross a charity telethon, a sentimental cartoon mutt, and an early 90s DOS platformer engine that animates at the frame rate of a caffeinated flipbook? Self-answer: Sleepwalker, the 1993 IBM-compatible conversion of CTA Development's Amiga Sleeper, pun mandatory, published by Ocean Software in aid of comic relief. It's the sort of curio that sends retro collectors riffling through flea market crates. Not because it's rare, box copies still cost less than a modern latte, but because it's simultaneously wholesome and malevolent. Wholesome: every sale originally siphoned pennies to Comic Relief's Red Nose Day coffers. Malevolent: the game's one mission is to stop a somnambulant boy named Lee from marching lemming-like into rivers, buzzsaws, circus lions, boiling tar, open manholes, speeding buses, and basically every OSHA violation known to humankind. Underrated or overrated? More like under-remembered. Lionized by Amiga reviewers, shrugged at by PC diehards who were already sharpening chainsaws for Doom. Fundamental? Absolutely. If you're charting the ancestry of indirect control puzzlers that runs from Lemmings through Tearaway and Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Negligible. Only if you're comfortable abandoning an 8-year-old to an endless urban death march. My therapist still invoices Ocean for the residual anxiety. The absurd thread I'll yank throughout this review is an anthropomorphic alarm clock of doom that starts ticking the instant Lee shuffles on screen. A metronome nobody but me can hear, yet one that dictates every sweaty keystroke. Historical context: picture 1993. Windows 3.1's Program Manager is still the default UI. VGA color palettes look like Lisa Frank on Pixie Sticks, and European studios are throwing mascots at every license wall to see what sticks. Ocean Software, fresh from churning out Addams Family and Jurassic Park tie-ins, joins forces with Comic Relief, Britain's red felt nose juggernaut, to package charitable vibes in 3.5-inch floppies. CTA Developments, soon absorbed into Interactive Studios, later famed for Glover, land the contract. Their pitch: a perpetually sleepwalking tyke, Lee, watched over by Ralph, a dog whose entire personality is protect the kid or die trying. On Amiga and CD32, the game debuted February 1993, just in time for that year's Red Nose Day telecast. Review copies shipped with telethon hotline leaflets and a press letter from comedian Lenny Henry, who also lends a voice sample to the title screen. Ocean wanted cross-platform reach, so a DOS port followed that summer. 3 high-density floppies, 640KB base RAM, 386-25 recommended. The manual urged you to give generously, then save Lee's life. The game disc even displays Comic Relief thanks you before booting the main menu. My personal XP arcade flashback: the owner, a burly Mortal Kombat evangelist, installed the shareware demo on an NCAP 486, hoping it would attract younger siblings bored by fatalities. Instead, said siblings cackled whenever Lee wandered beneath a wrecking ball and ragdolled into pixel vapor. I, the weirdo 13-year-old, fed the coin-op 2 quid, booted Sleepwalker, and discovered a cocktail of slapstick cruelty and speed chess that left me sweating like the fawns in a spelling bee. Context matters. PC gamers were busy bracing for Doom's shareware apocalypse, December. LucasArts had just dropped Day of the Tentacle, and platform lover chatter revolved around Jazz Jackrabbit's Sonic-esque velocity. Sleepwalker sailed in the opposite direction. No guns, no scrolling blur, no direct avatar control. Instead, CTA borrowed Lemming's indirect DNA and Prince of Persia's lethal timing, then spray-painted the whole affair Comic Relief red. Commercial impact? Humble. Amiga magazines report approximately 150,000 sold. Conservative estimates peg DOS at 50 to 70,000. Small potatoes next to Addams Family's 250,000. Yet in design terms, Sleepwalker quietly fathered a genre of escort the helpless thing missions long before players learned to dread the phrase. Mechanics boot up Boulevard Fire the executable, and Dave Newman and James Veal's jaunty ad-lib melody toots from your sound blaster while Ocean's logo K-chunks on screen. The static title card freezes Ralph mid-lunge, jaws agape, Lee shuffling forward, eyes shut, oblivious. Tap enter, and the unseen alarm clock of doom inside my skull begins its tick-tick countdown toward catastrophe. Indirect control, Dog Day Afternoon. You never steer Lee. You steer Ralph with arrow keys. Lee plods ceaselessly in whichever horizontal direction he currently faces, reversing only when smacked by a wall, hazard, or Ralph's bark. Cockerel key. Ralph can sprint, body check scenery, bark to make Lee U-turn, or act as living trampoline, stand beneath a ledge, and Lee bounces off Ralph's noggin rather than crater, miss the catch, and Lee cascades into whatever cartoon fatality CTA dreamed up. 5 mishaps and the level restarts, along with your blood pressure. The entire game is a continuous escort mission where the sole escort is the player character. Level layouts and Hazard 6 horizontally spooling stages unfurl. Uptown Street, lampposts, open manholes, Joe Pesci level cabbies, city zoo, caged lions, hippo moats, ring-tailed lemurs who tail trip Lee, building site, girders, concrete mixers, the conveyor belt sequence that still breaks speedrunners. Funfair, park, whirligigs, cotton candy electrics, kamikaze bumper cars. Docks and warehouse, swinging cargo crates, tide-timed planks, cartoon piranhas. Skyscraper rooftops, neon signs, window washer scaffolds, the final heart attack set piece. Hidden throughout every stage are 5 glowing letters, COMIC. Nab them all before Lee crawls into the exit bed and you earn an extra life plus a wink back at the charity's name. Canine parkour over combat. Ralph can't punch or bite. Danger is deflected, not destroyed. Example puzzle. Position a plank across a cement mixer's funnel. Bark to U-turn Lee. Sprint left. Body check a seesaw so the far end vaults Lee across live wiring. Early levels telegraph solutions with big bark posters. By stage 4, the game expects clairvoyance. That's when the alarm clock of doom screams loudest, a phantom metronome only slightly quieter than Ralph's digitized woof. Control quirks and DOS specific pain. The PC port keeps Amiga parallax but caps at approximately 25 frames per second. On today's DOS box, you'll want cycles equals 12,000 to dodge stutter. Keyboard occasionally drops inputs if BIOS repeat rate is odd, all too common on period Packard Bells. Joystick is technically recognized, but Ralph handles like a greased penguin under analog drift, arrow keys, or bust. Sound design, Newman and Veal's score, downsampled to 22 kHz VOCs, cycles through bouncy marches, and a circus earworm that will invade REM sleep. Ralph's bark is a clipped DAC sample. Lacking a sound blaster, the game defaults to PC speaker yips. Surprisingly effective, though my real dog once joined in, sending Lee to a watery grave amid real-world chaos. Micro moments of glory, using a construction site jackhammer as makeshift lift. Bark so Lee pivots atop the pneumatic piston, then juggle scaffold planks to bridge sparking wires mid-air. Redirecting a zoo elephant's trunk water jet to douse a flaming oil drum, only to use the drum as springboard seconds later. Rooftop finale, shepherding Lee across neon billboards while glass cleaner gondolas swing like pendulums. My fingers sweat just recalling it. Esoteric trivia break type ding-ga-ding dang my dang-a-long ling long on the title screen, a nod to an Anthrax lyric looped during crunch. Lee and Ralph's noses turn neon green, signaling cheat mode. Press enter to skip a level, tab for full energy, and revel in guilt-free philanthropy. Legacy and influence, contemporary press loved it. Amiga power, 91%. CU Amiga, 89%. PC format, 80%, dinging keyboard lag. Though Ocean never disclosed unit counts, Comic Relief thanked tens of thousands of game buyers in their 93 annual report, suggesting roughly 50,000 DOS discs contributed to the coffers. Yet as VGA bullets and CD-ROM FMV captured minds, indirect control cartoon puzzlers slipped from charts. Design DNA persisted. Sony's ICO transforms escorting into emotional verb. Resident Evil 4 gamifies Ashley babysit duty. Nintendo's Mario Versus. Donkey Kong Minis march exactly like Lee. In interviews, indie dev Kenichi Nishi, Ranko Tsukigime, name-check Sleepwalker for its panic rhythm. Even Valve's Half-Life 2 saw-form modders cite Ralph-style environmental body blocking when scripting Alex pathfinding. Why niche then? Marketing gaffe. US boxes downplayed the Comic Relief hook, looking like kiddie shovelware amid macho shooters. Difficulty spikes, Stage 3's conveyors still savage speedrunners, and platform prejudice. Sprite scrollers felt console, leading PC purists to dismiss them as juvenile fluff. Result, a sleeper, again, pun mandatory, that aged into cult status. Cult it remains. The Exodus library lists it under puzzle platform, catastrophe prevention. Twitch Retro Nights host No Death Lee marathon telethons. The standing world record, 18 minutes 43 seconds on real DOS hardware, belongs to user Kilobyte, who plays at Cycle Perfect 14K, a Unity remake with online leaderboards surfaced in 2019. Comic Relief permitted it so long as that revenue flowed charity ward, closure in pixel form. Closing paragraph plus score, rewalking Sleepwalker in 2025 feels like unearthing a charity shop VHS and discovering a lost Leica short. Rough round the sprockets, yes, but bursting with craft. It choreographs paternal panic, slapstick cruelty, and Swiss clock puzzle precision into a 4 megabyte executable, all whilst wearing a red nose for a good cause. Sure, collision detection can wobble, the restart jingle might send you seeking mute, and wrangling Ralph with a modern gamepad is penance. But when that internal alarm clock hits crescendo and you nail the final bark twirl bounce to tuck Lee safely into bed, dopamine rains down like confetti at a telethon finale. Final verdict? 8.1 over 10, more than a footnote, less than a masterpiece, but a charming frantic slice of early 90s design that predated and predicted decades of escort mission angst. Now, please excuse me, Ralph's claws are tapping a nervous staccato, Lee's eyelids are drooping, and somewhere a non-diegetic alarm clock is already tick 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 counting on me.